This is it. Hello and welcome to Zona Restorations. I can't believe it, but it's finally the day to where I can start this channel and start working on old BMWs. Of course, broken ones too. So today I'm looking on buying my first ever 8 Series, the first generation E31. I've been fascinated with these cars and love them to death. This one looks like it's going to need pretty much complete restoration in the aspect that it's been sitting for a while and has transmission issues and a few other things. But for the most part, I'm seeing that it's actually a pretty good fit for me. You see, I bought that Z3 when it wasn't running, put a motor in it. I thought that could have been a good video, but I wanted to wait for an 8 Series because they're absolutely my favorite cars and it's going to be a big project. It's going to take a while and produce a lot of content, so it's early. Don't want to wake the neighbors, so I'm gonna go to work, and after that, I'll see you on the ride. In the E39 540, going to pick up my dad, and then we're on our way to Rhode Island to retrieve the 8 Series. I haven't even looked at it yet. I'm really excited. I'll see you there. I just purchased the car. It's late at night, so I'll have to show you guys all about it tomorrow. I felt like it was a really good buy. I'm really excited for it. Doesn't it feel good to finally have what I've been looking for? The black on black 8 Series. Whew. I hate the beige interior, so I was really happy to find this. It's gonna need some work, but let's get it up on the lift and take a sheet out and write down everything we're gonna need. Before we go up on the lift here, there's clearly some issues, so I'm gonna have to note these down. We'll start from the front and go to the rear on the exterior. So of course we have this absolutely terrible chip. Someone must have banged into someone. I checked, the squirters actually do work, which is very surprising. As you can see, the difference. So this right here has paint damage. It looks like it might have been painted before because it's all flaking. So either this whole entire car has gotten painted, which I wouldn't doubt, or just a couple panels and such. As you can see, that thing sticks out pretty far, but the character of the car makes it drivable. Scratches pretty much everywhere. The sunroof, the tilt, the guy left it up for 2 years, so it of course was not going to go back down. I'll try and see if this can be repaired or if we have to replace it. These seals are somewhat pliable, definitely need treatment though. Ding. It looks fairly good, except for a few bumps here. Tail lights aggressive and not cracked, and all working bulbs. I know this isn't the mechanical portion yet, but I noticed this when I bought the car. This muffler is absolutely destroyed. In here, the defroster lines, they all look fine, and all of the windows are factory BMW, which I was very surprised about. This one is also, not shutting properly. Both these windows don't go down. Scratch. Try and buff it out and maybe it'll look nice. I haven't even looked at the fuel cap yet. That thing's destroyed. Absolutely destroyed. We'll have to get one of those. The fuel in here is also 2 years old. This isn't the longest sitting car I've had, so I'm very happy about that. And the headliner in the top is sagging, but that leads us to the interior to where it's not sagging. All right, this beautiful thing definitely needs work. But as you can see, the sag is mainly from just the sunroof. There's a little bit up there and a couple spots. I'm not gonna worry about that until a lot of things are sorted out. But this is really cool. I didn't realize these come in really nice leather. I've only seen like the like fake looking leather type material, kind of like these dashes. Has an airbag in the passenger seat. I think only 91 and 92 models had it. We have a broken cup holder, which someone probably tried once to use these cup holders, which are like the flimsiest things in the world, and just broke it and never used it again. We're missing the flashlight. Seals and weird things are happening. I'll have to go in super, big detail later, but for now I'm just kind of going overview, and then I'll come back to anything I missed. So the shifter boot is actually really nice, and the lever itself, but the radio and information panel is like all cracked. It wasn't when the guy had it on the listing, but I think he like tried to turn the radio or try and mess with stuff, and it just broke right through. It might be aftermarket because it looks like it's been resprayed. So that's another thing I gotta deal with. Another thing is right here, this plastic is loose, which is too bad. I think you have to take it apart to get to the bolts. But on the most part, this interior is really nice. Like looking wise, it has the telephone, which is crazy. These seats do not work properly. This one is the most operable, and it only goes up and down, and the cables are stuck. And this backrest does move, but the driver's side is completely stuck all the way back, which is absolutely terrible. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, because it's all the way back and I have to get to the bolts to take the thing out. So that's gonna be a big project. Luckily, worst case scenario, I do just sit in the seats because I can reach the pedals. We have no first aid kit in the center, and I'm very happy that these have the rear fold downs, so I can fit more stuff in here without destroying the seats. So on this side, this window works, this window works, the other three don't. From my knowledge, this is broken, but it could just be, needs to be lubed or something. It is very strange. The button is kind of stuck. I love these doors. They're like 6 inches thick, which is so cool. I have no idea why, but it is nice. I'm not sure if all 8 Series have this, but I haven't seen it in any before, but this like chrome striping and the chrome here and the chrome on the ignition switch. It must have been a package on these cars. I love how it has the original floor mats. This is obliterated, but I do have the memory slot. I found it in the glove box. So this will have to be repaired. The seat is in good condition physically, but mechanically, it's really bad. Gonna have to probably dye that if we want it to look really nice. That's surprising to me on how beautiful and not scratched these are. This works. The phone is not plugged in, and there is a radar thing that I saw under the exhaust. Really stupid. It sucks how they drilled through that. I'm gonna have to patch that up, get rid of this thing, but there's no way I can reverse that damage that's been done. I love this design with the singular pillar, but the only thing that sucks is due to the seatbelt being here, the seats are extremely heavy, and now it's like somewhat unsafe because my locking mechanism is not properly working, so that is fantastic. Couldn't ask for a better thing. Of course, it's the driver's seat, right? So yeah, definitely some things to note on the interior, but I already knew all these things before buying the car. The real question is bringing it up on the lift. Ah, what a beauty. M70, a V12, sadly not a 6-speed, but I think that might be for the future. I love 8 Series. I've driven one, 6-speed one, and now I have this one. My first 8 Series. I'm really proud to be in the E31 culture now, I guess. It still doesn't seem real because it hasn't even been a day yet. We're gonna dive into this thing, find all of its problems, hopefully get this thing on the road soon, and just enjoy it. You know, I don't think it would be fair to have this car make me money or keep the car in storage as a collector. I think what's fair to these cars is to be driven. They're gonna get more rare, more valuable probably. I have no doubt in my mind that's happening. I mean, already there's so much more interest than there was 2 years ago, just like the E39 M5, which I really wanted to buy, and I was saving up for that for this year. But the 8 Series was ultimately my dream car. A CSI, of course, but those are a lot of money. So this is the next best thing. It's in decently rough shape from what I can tell, but I think it's doable. We're gonna get this thing going. I work on cars, but you know, I'm always learning. Been working on it for about 2 years now, and it's about time I come back to a bigger project. I've had a few projects, but they've been either cleaner or smaller. I had an E34. It was black like this, the black curse, and that thing was absolute, you know, it needed a lot of work. It was an absolute piece of junk. So this is gonna be the next worst thing. I think this is in better condition than that E34, so I'm ready to handle it. It doesn't seem to have rust on the exterior. It's a way cooler car. I love this thing, and I'm planning on keeping this car, refining it, basically slowly restoring the car, documenting its journey, daily drive the car, and just live the 90s millionaire life. You know, these things were so expensive when they were new, and it's really a shame that a lot of them just need a lot of work. And the ones that are for sale, like on Bring a Trailer and everything, are they're a lot of money, and they still need a lot of work. These things are complicated, not too complicated. They're reliable though, if everything's sorted out from the beginning, once over again. But this thing is 28 years old. It needs it. Now I'm ready to take this on, whatever comes my way, and let's go and lift this thing up and for the first time see what we're really dealing with, because a lot of things are hidden from underneath, and that's where mice get in and stuff. Today I am doing an oil change on this car, which is probably the first one in about 2 or 3 years. The owner did start this car up, which I didn't know was gonna happen. I was ready to buy the car with it not starting, so it has already had oil all through everything. So that's why I drove it in and everything like that. I would have rather drained the oil, assess the situation. We already ran fuel in it. It's only been sitting for 2 years, so I'm not too concerned about everything eating away. Of course, there definitely is some of that, but that E34 was sitting for 7 years in much worse condition, and it was going just fine. This thing's gonna be, bulletproof. These engines are really great, and it's just a matter of normal care. And it's a really bad rap that these cars get, and I feel really bad for them. People say a V12, yeah, that's cool, but I would never want to buy a 30-year-old V12. But let's see if I'm right in thinking that the M70 is going to be a great luxury cruiser once I get this thing all sorted. I mean, it already runs, so that's good. And it passed inspection 2 years ago. Let's get under it. Compressor likes to kick in at just the wrong time. Man, these rims are cool. I really like them. I haven't had a pair of these yet. I do have the original wheels for this car. Tires are not dry cracked. They're probably flat spotted though, so might still have to replace them. These coils have some surface rust. Probably gonna need to be replaced in the future, but for now and just getting the car started and all the engine and transmission issues looked at, I think we're good. Brake pads have some meat. That's a first on an E31. 0 play. Wow. This is giving me hope. Brake looks good. Not broken. Huh. 0 play yet again. And these fenders, they're popped out, but they're not broken. These plastic things are, you know, they're prone to be breaking because people go over bumps and have rocks fly in and out. This looks pretty good so far. The absorber is coming apart. Shock looks okay. Plastic panels look okay. Brakes have pads. Tire wear is good. No play. All right, that's 3 for 3. See the last one. Little shaky. Little shaky. That is amazing. I noticed that the suspension seemed decently tight. Just driving it around the building. Oh, there's a ding right there that I didn't see. And the steering also felt pretty good too. So the best out of almost all 30-year-old cars that I've driven. That is absolutely outstanding. Whew. I guess we'll start back to front because we're already here. For some reason, I have a feeling our exhaust is gonna have to be replaced. Uh-oh. Oh. That is really bad. That is really bad. Oh Lord. Is this one janking? That one's solid. That's too bad. Hangers are good though. There's our radar detector that we have to take out. And they drilled through the spare tire well, which is not very nice. Bad. Very bad. Yep, this was repainted. That's not right. That's okay. I'm keeping the car. No plans on selling. Rear shocks leaking and rusted. Have to be replaced along with the sway bar link. Though there's no play in this system, some of these boots are torn. Pretty much the same deal over here, except the shock is not leaking. Bushings are not as bad as I would think. Yep, okay, we have an issue. That brake line, about to blow, not safe at all. Gonna have to replace that. Calipers, I'm gonna have to, oh, hello spiders. These calipers, I'm gonna have to see if the brake bleeders can even be opened, because I'm not sure. Some form of pinion seal leak or other diff leak. So I'm looking at a full fuel line replacement from here throughout. These are just starting to corrode. These will probably start getting bad. I'm not going to do this until I have the car working properly though. Fuel filters will probably want to replace sooner rather than later. These lines are not as bad as I would have thought. Usually these are pretty normal wear, especially for 30 years and sitting. I did notice this evap line needs to be completely replaced, probably with a rubber line. I'll have to see what I'm gonna do with that, how much that would cost. Huh, no way. It can't be. This can't be serious right now. So I have this car for such a good deal because there's a transmission failsafe issue. But there's a connector right here. Right there. There's a connector. This could be our issue. The connector is corroded, so I will have to fix that. But if that connector was unplugged, that could be our issue right there. I'm gonna get some safety glasses on. I don't know why that connector is unplugged. It goes to something in the transmission area. What is not dry is this area. It looks like our belts are okay. Very surprising. But it looks like we have a new tensioner, new fan clutch. I noticed last night. Ground strap looks good, which is surprising. Lower oil pan gasket, probably leaking. Motor mount starting to go. Check this side. Yep, this one's starting to go. All these connectors are getting full of oil. Alternator looks new. Probably gonna have to really look at this in detail and see what exactly is leaking on this car, except for the lower oil pan. But that could just be the oil pan just getting everywhere. Why is it dripping from up there? This radiator looks really great. And all the coolant stuff looks intact. Car's pretty clean. I've got a lot of talking in this video for sure. Gonna do the oil change now because she's thirsty. As you can see here, we have a genius who decided to, leave this like that. Not very professional looking, so we're gonna have to deal with that another time. There's a bolt missing, but the mounts seem to be okay on this baby. I would prefer to take a strap wrench and, deal with that. But since I don't have one big enough, this should work. Alright, should be loose enough. Oh yeah, should come out. I am crossing my fingers that the oil is gonna drain. Supposedly, only one oil change happened in the previous owner's 4 years, so that is really not good. He only drove it 2,000 miles, but one oil change in 4 years. Sludge is probably existent. Things are probably a little clogged up, but at least it doesn't have a Vanos system. Wow, it's not stuck. Look at that. Oh, the oil actually does not look bad. Wow. That's much better than I was expecting. The old filter was from China. Not this time. That is not very good. But the car wasn't driven much. So satisfying. New seal. Come on, you've been dripping for 8 minutes. I think you're okay. Eight ports for the 8 series. thing is so cool. Just drove the 850. It's right on temp. I noticed that these cars, it's slightly off to the left. And the transmission failsafe program did happen. It happened at around 30 miles an hour when I kind of accelerated into 2500 RPM. I was babying it at first and it shifted beautifully. So that gives me a good sign. I have that connector. The connector is going to be the first thing I look at under the transmission. But tonight I'm gonna see if I can close this moonroof. In the 8 Series again. It's gonna be a recurring process, I guess. But I'm happy with it. I can't believe this is my car. This is happening. I'm fixing it. So we'll just talk about my little drive. I drove the car about 4 minutes or less just to see if the transmission failsafe would go on, and it did after I kind of accelerated a little fast, about 2500 RPM. So I have a feeling it's that connector down there, and this connector looks kind of messed up too. But even just driving the car a little bit, I did notice that it seems pretty solid. I'm very surprised. There's what looks like a corroded connector in there, but I want to see if this one is. It's not. I'm gonna put some contact cleaner on there. Due to the fact that it's getting later in the day, I'm not worried about actually diagnosing this right now. I'm just looking to shut it so that I can leave this thing outside. Alright. I'm gonna try taking a bolt, putting it in there. Bingo, first try. I'm bad at judging Allen sizes or hex sizes. Make sure this is moving. All right, it's moving. So that right there, 4mm Allen, you twist it left and right, and it opens and closes the moonroof if it's stuck, just like right now. Sometimes that is stuck and then the gear won't even move, so I'm gonna hope that this goes all the way without breaking. We'll see the process. Feels good to have a sealed car when you push down a window and hope it catches. So now it's ready for the weather. That is a very good feat. Glad I accomplished it tonight. I'm gonna wash the car, wash the wheels, just because it looks pretty disgusting. I would say it's successful. This mirror is a little off. The sunroof situation, I think, is going to be one of the last things I deal with, because I don't use sunroofs. Even in my car that works perfectly fine, I very rarely use it. Only sometimes, very rare, when I open it to allow all the hot air to escape, and that's about it. So this is not a priority. It's not going to get fixed for a while. As long as this is sealing properly, I'm fine with that. Don't need to open it. I'd much rather get this window fixed and this window fixed way before that. I'd rather get the interior looking nice, because this issue I feel like isn't going to be that big of a deal. I don't think it's going to be a carrier. It'll probably just be a motor or a switch. I'll have to try a couple things out, test them, with a meter, see if there's power going to it, which it looks like it's eliminated. But that's about it. I'm gonna wash the car and you'll see that process. It hasn't even been a day and I am tired of this car looking so dirty. Holy crap, it's beating off. Oh, I love this car. It's honestly kind of funny. I would have think that they would have pretty big sidewalls, but I guess whoever mounted these tires on these wheels wanted some a little bit more modern size. What a difference. Something very weird has just occurred. It just moved on its own when I started the car. So that means the motor's good. The switch is probably bad. I'm just gonna leave it out tonight. I don't think that's gonna do much. Well, frankly, I think that's a wrap for part one. My first 24 hours with the car. Been successful, I would say. We got the E31 behind me, waiting to go home. If you have any tips for me or anything you would like to say down in the comments, I would greatly appreciate them. I'm pretty new to the E31, so I would appreciate it. And yeah, my goals for the next video are to see if we can figure out where that plug connector on the bottom of the transmission goes, see if that causes the transmission failsafe to go away, check the fluid, and clean the center area where the shifter is. Another goal would probably be to see if I can figure out what's going on with the sunroof to where it's just randomly activating the motor, so I know the motor is at least somewhat good. And then maybe if I feel ambitious, tackle the other windows on the passenger side. And that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I'm really excited for this 8 series, and I think it'll be on the road pretty soon. And by then, it's just gonna be a gradual fixing. So, thank you. Have a good one.